the challenge was, well, how can we keep up with New York? Well, this is a leading think tank from New York called Terraform. They're actually at the UN right now. And their vision for the future of New York, as you can see, is at least 3/4 green. And the other quarter is parametric. But essentially, just looking at the slides and the vision that they're presenting, really the iconography of buildings is really foremost at their agenda. How the way that the buildings look, the kind of the mimicry of the spaces.
1 million more people will settle in London over the next 10 years. How should the capital grow to accommodate them?
It's a combination of making sure we have got that supply, and we're currently, I think we need 50,000 homes a year. We're currently building around 30,000 homes a year in London. It's not just that, it's also the infrastructure around it, and obviously making sure that people can commute to wherever they're working within London.
One is we need housing, and that housing has to come through, and that inevitably means more intensification, it means city villages, it means growing upwards rather than outwards.
As an industry, we've got to start innovating, and we're not the most forward-thinking industry for innovation. If we looked at the coal lighted day to ourselves, look at technology, look at Apple and those companies, and then we look at the construction industry, and we're still building houses out of concrete blocks and bricks and all those good things that we're still mining out the ground.
Is the price of housing pushing out the next generation of talent?
It's very similar to businesses and offices. As things get more expensive centrally, everybody gets pushed out to the fringes.
We've got the job requirements, which early mornings often, and very often late nights. So a restaurant that shuts at 12, people don't get to leave before 2 in the morning. So the idea of a London-based restaurant business, for example, having staff living outside the M25 is a bit pushing it.
Actually, let's try and find the talent in different pools, and rather than just compete on price, where can we find these talent pools? And it's in the primary schools, it's not in the public schools necessarily. And it's again looking across culturally at what different gender, different cultures bring to a business.
Nope, 1,000-year minimum term. We still look at it that way, and we're going through a shift as an industry. We still look at life in an industrial age prism. We have our factory, our mill, and we live here, and we get on the tube or the train or the whatever the link that takes us there. We're having to change that. That existed in 1800 and something rather. We need to now look forward, probably the digital age and maybe the energy age that follows it, and change the way we build real estate, not just the fabric, but the location, the makeup and the mix.
The incentives for developers are, and talking about the inward investment, that overseas capital won't continuously flow into residential if capital growth doesn't continue at the rate it has been over the last few years. And that's not going to happen because prices will just become completely unsustainable. The key driver around affordability is actually the infrastructure that sits behind it. Because actually affordability in Zone 1 is always going to be a challenge for London. And you've got to ask the question, is that the best place to put it? If the infrastructure is in place, there are great opportunities in London.